And a very good morning to you for Wednesday, the 7th of June. Welcome into Roundup. Welcome back to me and to you, the listeners, here on this very chilly Wairarapa morning. A few things to talk about this morning with lots of music. Most recently, we have learned of the passing of Tina Turner, rock and roll legend. So, to start the morning off, we will listen to a bit of Tina Turner. We'll play a couple of Tina Turner songs throughout this morning. So first up, what's love got to do with it? Hope you enjoy.
You must understand, the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. That it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? It may seem to you that I'm acting confused when you're close to me. If I tend to look dazed, I read it someplace. I've got cause to be. There's a name for it. There's a phrase that fits. But whatever the reason, you do it for me. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? I've been taking on a new direction, but I have to say, I've been thinking about my own protection. It scares me to feel this way. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? What's love got to do with it? What's love but a sweet old-fashioned notion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? Ooh, got to do with it. What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
Very good, smoothie way to start your morning. So that was Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it? So I was away last month. Apologise about that. I was in Australia, or was going to Australia that day that I was supposed to be on air. So it's a bit of a hush-hush, really. I did have a show planned, but I just didn't have the time to come in the morning and do that. But that's all right. I'm back now. I thoroughly enjoyed Australia, and great to be back, as I will for probably the rest of the year. I'm not planning on any other holiday this year. So you'll still see me throughout the year. So don't worry about that. Anyway, let's start with our old mate Michael Wood, eh? Michael Wood has been stood down as Transport Minister due to Auckland Airport shares declaration. Prime Minister Chris Hipkins spoke to Wood on Tuesday morning over the partially declared Auckland Airport shares. This morning, I spoke with Michael Wood and advised him that he will be stood down as Transport Minister while any remaining issues around his conflict are appropriately resolved, Hipkins said. This will be effective immediately. Hipkins said it was an unacceptable situation and Wood needed to take some time to make sure he got his potential conflict of interest sorted. One of the challenges is that the Cabinet Office has been advised by him on a number of occasions that he was diversifying himself of the shares. That clearly hasn't happened. This is quite a material issue. And so it's important that he does that. National's acting Auckland spokesperson, Paul Goldsmith, on Tuesday morning describes Wood $13,000 worth of shares as a clear conflict of interest for a Minister of Transport and responsible for Auckland's transport network and as Minister for Auckland. For more than a year as Minister of Transport from late 2020 to early 2022, he did not declare his holdings, Goldsmith said. This is a clear breach of the Cabinet manual. His position may be untenable. So that's our old mate Michael Wood. I mean, at least he got Transmission Galley open, I'll give him that. So, come on. Not very good. Anyway, woman from Tainui, Dunedin, accused of murder, appears in court. The identity of a 61-year-old Dunedin woman accused of murder will remain under wraps until at least August. She appeared briefly in the High Court at Dunedin this morning, or yesterday morning, before Justice Jonathan Eaton by video link, where no plea was entered. The defendant will remain behind bars while mental health assessments take place. Counsel Sarah Saunderson-Warner successfully argued for continued suppression of her client's name, which extends to that of the victim. Crown Prosecutor Richard Smith did not oppose that course and sought suppression of the defendant's employer. Justice Eaton granted the applications. So we'll just have a look at here. Mental health assessment. It's very common these days, isn't it, to do something, but you can just pull the old mental health card. I think that's one way to use an abuse. But yeah. A young girl hung her head before withdrawing from classmates after telling them that she had been abused by her Oranga Tamariki caregiver. Now that caregiver, Sean Bennett, has been found guilty of a range of indecent assault charges. The 65-year-old has been on trial in the Whangarei District Court before Judge Keith DeRider on 4 charges of an indecent act on a girl under the age of 12, 3 charges of unlawful sexual connection on a female under the age of 12, and 1 charge of indecent assault on a female under 12. Throughout last week, the girl gave evidence alongside witnesses that included her teacher, a child psychologist, a previous employer of Oranga Tamariki, the defendant, his wife, and her new caregiver. So all the best to that young girl there. Hopefully things can turn out right, because we shouldn't be allowing that type of behaviour around kids, especially those that are in the system. That's outrageous. Mother and son, sentenced for roles in the Whangarei shooting. This is separate to the Oranga Tamariki case, by the way. A man's medical need for cannabis as a painkiller drove a family to participate in drug dealing that prompted a drive-by shooting in Kamo. 2 brothers involved were sent to prison, and their mother was sentenced to home detention for drug dealing. Jamie Eliason, 29, Jay Eliason, 26, and their mother, Linda Prowls, 58, were sentenced in the Whangarei District Court before Judge Keith DeRider on various charges relating to firearms and possession of cannabis following a drive-by shooting that involved on Station Road in Whangarei. The court heard CCTV captured the eldest brother Jamie walking from his house with a firearm and getting into the back seat of a car, driven by his younger brother Jay, at around 1:30 p.m. on May 17, 2022. The brothers went to an address in Carmel in regard to a dispute over a contract involving the dealing of cannabis. When they arrived at the property, the first victim began walking towards the vehicle when Jamie pulled out a .22 rifle out of the rear window and fired 5 shots. The victim took cover behind a parked vehicle and took the shots, and the shots hit the passenger door, rear tyre and into the ear, luckily missing the victim. A second victim heard the gunshots and came out of the house when the driver, Jay, yelled at her, aiming a gun in direction before fleeing the scene. I just take my glasses off, clean my eyes. I only woke up about 20 minutes to 8, so still half asleep. Can't quite see my words, but hopefully that'll change very shortly. Something a bit less crimey. Well, it is crime, but it's not involving an act like that. A $10,000 reward is being offered for the return of the beloved children's charity mascot, Maya the bear. Have you seen Maya? Anyone seen Maya? If you have, yeah, and if you know where it is, maybe go ring them up and hopefully you can get that $10,000 reward. Maya is the mascot for the Heart Kids New Zealand charity, which supports children with heart conditions and their whānau. The friendly bear appears at events to help raise awareness for the organisation, which provides free, lifelong support for children. Every year, hundreds of Kiwi kids receive a smaller Maya bear when they undergo open heart surgery. Long-time Heart Kids New Zealand supporter Super Cheap Auto have now offered a $10,000 reward, payable as a donation to Heart Kids New Zealand for the safe return of Maya the bear. A Super Cheap Auto New Zealand business manager, Matt Northway, and his team were very upset to hear about the kids napping, hearing about the bear napping of Maya. We know how much she means to all the Heart Kids, and we really want to do whatever we can to help bring her home. The $6,500 suit was in a staff member's car that was stolen last week, and crime rate's going down. Anyway, back on to Tina Turner. Just a little blurb. She became unlikely face of Australian Rugby League, as you may have seen in the ads back in the day, and recently on the TV after her passing. Toured New Zealand multiple times, anyone go see her, and achieved plenty of New Zealand chart success. The one former EMI manager said it was Tina Turner's personality that Kiwis really responded to. Turner, the US-born singer, who became one of the world's biggest recording artists in a career spanning 5 decades, died recently, aged 83. What is your favourite Tina Turner song? Does anybody have a favourite Tina Turner song? Maybe you didn't really listen to Tina Turner. Maybe you only knew of her because she played every now and then on the radio. But the truth is that Tina Turner was a huge star. They called her, the Queen of Rock and Roll and stuff like that. I mean, you look at songs like Proud Mary. When she done that live, a 5-minute song turned into like a 12-minute song because she'll just get that crowd absolutely rolling. Do you like how I done that? So, yeah, we'll do another Tina Turner song this morning. The Best, which I think is quite a good song and a lot of people love it. And I think she even performed it at that rugby league thing, if I read the ad correctly. Anyway, 13 minutes past 8. Enjoy. Good morning to you.
I call you, I need you, my heart's on fire. You come to me wild and wild. You come to me, give me everything I need. Give me a lifetime of promises and a world of dreams. Speak the language of love like you know what it means. And it can't be wrong. Take my heart and make it strong. You're simply the best, better than all the rest, better than anyone I've ever met. I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart.
Tina Turner the best. And that was Tina Turner in the best. Election year this year, 2023. Let's look at last month's poll. So the most recent poll. Let me just find it. Party vote. National, 37% up 3. Labour, 35% down 1. Act, 11% steady. Green, 7% down 4%. New Zealand First, 3%. I guess the Maori Party, 2%, down 1%. The Opportunities Party, 1%. And Democracy NZ, 1%. Don't know or refuse, 12%. I think DNZ is Democracy New Zealand. That's the new party that's launched by Matt Kingy, I think his name is. He used to be the Northland MP for National. Then didn't make it in, and then was one of the faces of the anti-mandate protests down in Wellington. So his party is about democracy and a choice, I believe, though they are a bit pushy. But we'll see how they turn out at this year's election. Got to remain political neutrality. I can't be expressing my opinions out there. So that's the party vote. It's pretty tight between National and Labour, actually. There's only about 2% in it. Seats in the House, National 47, Labour 46. So the neck and neck, really. I think in 2017 Labour had 46 seats and National had 54. And then Labour got like 60 seats and National had 30 something. So we might see a turnaround. Act will be in there with 15. So that's only 62 seats, you see, with National and Act. So they'll make that because there's a 61 seat threshold. You put Labour, the Greens and the Te Pāti Māori in the 58. They already got 58 seats. So they are 3 seats, they could be more than that. Yeah, 3 seats short than the threshold, which means they'll probably need New Zealand First back. And New Zealand First to form a coalition with them. The thing is, though, I don't think Winston would go with them again. And if Winston gets back in, New Zealand First gets back in, National Act cross the threshold, they're not good. They don't need Winston, so they won't need him at all. So now Winston's just going to be this neutral opposition party, screaming at the left and the right. So we'll see what happens. It's not like he hasn't done this before. 2014 he was by himself? I think it was 2014, yeah. Because the reality is, though, Te Pāti Māori is more than likely to go left than right. And National and Act, I think they're changing the legislation on Waitangi or whatever it is, but we'll see what happens there. The preferred Prime Minister ratings, Chris Hipkins has quite a good lead there on 25%, down 2%. Christopher Luxon, 18% up 1%. David Seymour, 7% up 1%. Winston Peters, 2% down 1%. And they've also thrown Chloe Swarbrick in there, who's also on 2%, up 1%. So she's neck and neck with Winston Peters. But I think the reality is, though, that more people would prefer Winston Peters than Chloe Swarbrick. So Hipkins does have a good lead there, 25%. Luxon, do many people still trust him yet? Do people trust him yet? Because he seems to be changing his opinions and views on things every 5 minutes, so it's a bit hard to keep up with what he's actually doing. Now we'll look at so I'm just looking at these preferred Prime Minister ratings there. In January 2022, so last year, beginning of last year, 2022, Jacinda Ardern was on 34%, Chris Luxon on 23%. And Jacinda Ardern had quite a steady lead, as you know. She was quite a popular Prime Minister. And Chris Luxon's support slowly discontinued. But now, in November 2022, he was in the lead. Now he's back behind. I think it's because, actually, it's not quite election time yet, so National has released no policy on anything because they're saving it for the election. But the reality is, though, I don't think anybody trusts them. So we'll see how that turns out this year. Election year this year, obviously I'll be right into it. I'll be following it. I'll be updating you on the latest news, and we'll hope all the best for all the candidates across the country, in particular Wairarapa, and the major parties and the minor parties. And we'll see what happens this year. I think this will be a great turnaround, one of the greatest turnarounds we've ever seen. I really do think this will be the most interesting election ever. I don't think it'll be a landslide win like we did see last year. I honestly think it'll be neck and neck. But we'll see what happens. The Reserve Bank has recently raised the official cash rate, OCR, by 25 basis points, taking it to 5.5%. The RBNZ said it still sees a 5.5% as a peak for the OCR. It anticipates cuts from the third quarter of 2024. That call surprised markets with its softer, I've lost my words now. I went to go zoom in and it disappeared. Softer, more approach. The big turn in immigration numbers in last week's budget has shifted market forecasts drastically since the last OCR decision in April, where previously a rate hike to 5.5% this month was expected to be the peak for the cycle. There was growing expectations would see the rate move as high as 6%. The Reserve Bank's decision to hike the rate by 25 basis points, while largely in line with the expectations, unleashed a crazy response in the nation's dealing rooms, as it was far more than expected. Soon after the 2 p.m. release, the New Zealand dollar was down by 3/4 of the US cent, and wholesale interest rates were off sharply. The big surprise was the bank had called the peak in the OCR at 5.5%. So very good prediction there. They reckon that's it. You can't go any higher. We'll see what happens. I mean, as they say here, they were expecting it to peak around 6%. Hopefully not. It's already high enough at the moment. So 5.5%, very good prediction. That's what we're sitting at the moment. And we'll talk about the scam that's going around. It's going around. It's happened to me. I've got it. I've had maybe 3 texts in the last week about it, and you just block them. If you get a text from something or someone claiming to be something or someone with a link, as soon as it's got a link in it, some random number, don't press on it. Okay? The only numbers, the links that you should be pressing on are the ones where they've got maybe 4 numbers on it. And it'll be like 2521. They're legit company numbers. And then you've got other ones that will text you and they've got like a 9-digit number. Don't click on those links. But just to be safe, sometimes don't click on any links. If you get someone saying, oh, your parcel, you need to click here, just ring up your courier and be like, is this true? And they'll tell you, no, it's not. So a circulating scam has led to people losing amounts of money, large amounts of money that is, with 100,000 people complaining so far. The NZTA toll. This is the one I'm talking about, and it is happening quite often. Scam has been circulating New Zealand since late 2022. It presents itself as a genuine SMS text, messages from a legitimate organisation such as Wakakatahi New Zealand Transport Agency, New Zealand Post, that's another one, and even the IRD. What about that? And numerous New Zealand-based banks. In the message is a link which leads to a fake website where people were asked to enter information including internet banking login details, credit card details, driver's license, and other personal details. It also includes gambling and prize scams. We are seeing cases where everyday New Zealanders have lost their entire life savings due to this scam. In some cases, upwards of $10,000. Said John Michael, Deputy Director of Operations at the Department of Internal Affairs. So don't click on any links. They're probably listening to me right now. They might try to send me another one, but I'm not going to fall for it. Don't fall for any links. If you see someone claiming or some number to claiming to be some organisation, just ring that organisation directly and ask them, because I'm pretty sure they'll tell you that's not real. So this was yesterday. This news came out yesterday afternoon. So it's very good for the victim's family. Police have arrested and charged a 52-year-old man in connection with the death of Linda Woods and Kai Kohi. The man was arrested without incident during a search warrant at a nearby property yesterday morning. He will appear in the district court today, charged with manslaughter, burglary and aggravated assault. Police earlier raided a Kai Kohi property as they closed in on the alleged killer of Woods, who died during a violent scuffle in her own home. Detective Inspector Reece Johnson said that the arrest the police made were not seeking anyone else in relation to the matter, but investigators have a large amount of inquiry work to continue with over the next coming days. I would like to thank the community for their cooperation and throughout the investigation, particularly those who contacted the team to provide information. So I think that was quite recent. I read it I don't know, someone was talking to me about it, but obviously hats off to the victims, so that is very sad, but in a way justice must be served this way. I don't know if it was deliberate, but I'm not going to make any comments on it because I'm not going to. But I'm just going to make a side comment on the note there that this is happening far too often. It's becoming much more frequent, and we need to stop this. We need to find a way to actually resolve these issues and make New Zealand this place it once or should be. And instead of the force going out there and spending new money on electric BMWs and stuff like that, there should be more funding around mental health teams or some type of armed response team to actually crack down on the gangs' violences, the dealings. I must take my head off quite lately. We have seen quite a lot of busts around the country that involve lots of money, lots of drugs and lots of assets. So that has been good. I've enjoyed keeping up with that and knowing that there are people out there that will, if they do get out, they'll have to start from the ground again, and very low chance they will because they will have a target on their back, aka the police. So for that, I do take my hat off to that. It's good to see that because these drugs out there, like meth and all them, they destroy people's lives. Literally, they disown their families, they sell their houses, or sell up all their assets because they are so obsessed and so addicted to this drug, and that's it for them. And then they just turn into some regretful person somewhere down the line. So hopefully we can see more action around that. And in terms of crime as well, with the shootings and the stabbings, and I haven't seen much about ram raids lately, so I guess that's a good thing, but that doesn't stop the fact that crime rate is still very high at the moment, particularly around all the shootings, or that there's just been too much deaths on the road as well. So that road to zero thing, I don't think it's about the speed. I think it's about it's the driver at the end of the day, right? You find with some of these that they've made a mistake, or they've tried to pass somewhere, or they're intoxicated under the influence of something. So I guess it's all fair to say you can lower the speed limits and all that, but if you're under the influence, you shouldn't be on the road. That's it. It's very dangerous, and not only are you risking your own life, but you're risking somebody else's life. So I think it's just stupidity and selfishness at the end of the day. So don't do it. And that's my rant on drunk drivers. But we need to start doing something, and I think that New Zealand will change sometime soon, hopefully. I really hope it does, because I'm getting sick of waking up in the morning and reading there's another shooting somewhere. It's just not good enough. It's just not New Zealand. But we'll go into the happy half hour after this. That's all about the crime rates today. It is Wednesday the 7th of June. I'm Jodeci Apiata. This is Roundup 8:33. This is a good song, quite a good jazzy song. Can't Take My Eyes Off You. Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I'm pretty sure he's still touring, and he's like 100. Not quite, but up there. Anyway, enjoy the song.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like last love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. Just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you.
Always one song to get you kind of moving, and also moving your head as well, moving your legs, your head, your hips. I enjoy it thoroughly. I just quickly, even though I said no crime this hour, but I just really wanted to pay tribute to the victims of the Loafers Lodge fire at Wellington last month. There were 5 victims who passed away due to the fire. Kenneth Bernard, who was 67, Liam James, I don't want to pronounce this wrong, I'm just going to say Liam James, 50, Peter Glenn O'Sullivan, 64, Melvin Joseph Perroon, 68, and Michael Woolrich, 67, known by many as Mike the Juggler. A service of their remembrance will be held at the Wellington Cathedral of St Paul, 2 Hill Street at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, June the 15th. Mike the Juggler. He was a very well known Wellingtonian who'll be very sadly missed across the streets of Wellington. I do remember him from a few years ago, actually, when I was walking down Lambton Quay in that usual spot that he was always at, juggling with his tennis balls. He didn't say much, but he just enjoyed entertaining the crowd, entertaining the people that walked past, and he always got waves from people, and everyone always stopped to have a quick chat to him and all that. So may they all rest in peace, and condolences on to the family. What about this day in 1976? Who was around in 1976 on the 7th of June, and who can remember what happened on that day? McDonald's arrived in New Zealand. The Golden Arches appeared for the first time in New Zealand at the Cobham Court, Porirua. A Big Macs were priced at 75 cents, equivalent to $6.40 in 2020. They're probably even more now. Cheeseburgers were 40 cents and hamburgers were 30 cents. So another 10 cents for another piece of cheese. It's like $1 now for a piece of cheese. Expensive. More than 100 eager customers were queuing outside when the doors opened at 10 a.m. 20 years later, the American fast food giant opens its 100th outlet in the country. Rivals Kentucky Fried Chicken, now KFC, arrived in New Zealand in August 1971. Both organisations faced challenges here. A licensing system restricted the importing of products that could be made in New Zealand. The McDonald's kitchen was supposed to be sent back to the USA once local companies were able to reproduce it. The resulting trade negotiations were a windfall for the New Zealand Dairy Board, the Fonterra, which was able to offload some of its cheese surplus in exchange for more imported kitchens for McDonald's. New Zealand's second McDonald's restaurant arrived in Queen Street in Auckland in July 1977. The first drive-through opened the following year in New Lynn, Auckland, and then Lower Hutt. So the first McDonald's in Porirua. Who would have thought in all places around New Zealand, right, in Porirua? I wonder what was going around there in 1976. It was so popular that Porirua drew the attention to the international McDonald's. And then they went to Auckland. Wouldn't you think they went to Auckland first? But hey, don't know. And is that original? I don't know. Is that original McDonald's still around from 1976? It's probably undergone some changes by now, but there's a McDonald's somewhere, probably in California somewhere, the very first McDonald's that was opened in the 50s, I think it was. And it still looks the original, still looks the exact same from what it did when it first opened. I don't think you can, or you have to order outside, and then I think there's a little place inside that you can eat. So yes, you actually have to order outside, and it looks quite fascinating actually. It looks like an airport terminal type building, if you know what I mean, and then it's got this big M, but it's not like the M you see nowadays where it's just a quite wide M, stretched out M. So yes, the first McDonald's in New Zealand. I wasn't around in 1976, but they reckon as things digest throughout the years, so even with lots of things that throughout the years things have gone from good to bad. So what do you think? I think McDonald's is okay. I don't mind it, but if I were to take somebody out for dinner, I wouldn't take them to McDonald's. Take them to a nice place. A book has been returned to a US library almost 100 years later. A History of the United States by the American historian Benson Lusing is thought to have been published in 1881. It was on loan from St. Helena Public Library in California with a return date, get this, of the 21st of February 1927. However, it was handed back only a few days ago, making it 96 years overdue. The man who returned the book to the front desk to the library, as it is not used fine since 2019 according to the library director, Chris, had the fine stood, the man would have to pay £1,400, following the library's old nickel-a-day penalty, 4 pence. Inside the library's original note remains intact, saying this book may be kept for 2 weeks, and injuries to books and to books lost must be paid for. So he's very lucky he doesn't have to pay that fine. But issued out sometime in February 1927. And then some guy's obviously just cleaned out his attic or something, and he's come along with this book, and he's gone, I better return this back to the library. So 96 years later. Isn't that cool? The skate park. This is taken from the Facebook post from Stella Lennox, your next generation counsellor. Te Hapori Skate Park Community Group, with the support of the Marsden District Council, have obtained external funding, bracket non-ratepayers money, to enable the skate park kaitiaki rolls to return as of Monday, the 5th of June. Kaitiakis of the park, Sam Hall and Picky Avery, will present to the park every day at Monday to Friday and both days during the weekend, so 7 days a week they'll be down there. Their role is to ensure the users of the skate parks are learning skate and scooter skills, education around safe skating, maintaining a culture of fun, and endorse the message that the skate park is for everyone to use safely. The recent incident of negativity is not what the park needs as its label. It's an incredible asset to Masterton and the park, and free to everyone to use every day. The passion and commitment Sam and Picky have for the skate park and its users are second to none. And we are very fortunate to have these guys in our community willing to step up. The skate park group will look to engage with the Māori wardens in the next coming days as another level of safety at the park. The group will also be working with council around the youth hub, the timeframes of completion, ensuring the community is involved with the project, and the management of the space going forward and into the future. To find out more, or to financially support these roles, you can contact the skate park group at Tehapora skateparkgroup@gmail.com. So that's TEHAPORIS, and then Kate parkgroup@gmail.com. So that's great to hear that. And I heard from last time when they were there for a very short time that they are very strong, what would the word be, representatives at the skate park, and people really admire and look up to them there. So hats off to them. Welcome back, guys, and I hope it all goes best and we can lower the negativity at the skate park, because there's been lots of things going all over Facebook recently about stuff that's been going on at the skate park. But I don't think that that should be the name for the skate park. I don't think it should be known as a place where you go down there, you get beat up and you get abused. Because a lot of parents are even scared to go and confront them themselves, because some of these kids are so ruthless. But when there's some type of authority figure there, hopefully it all goes well. So all the best with that, you two. Over to Marston community page now. Di has posted, could I please ask if anyone can refer to the names of good gardeners / lawnmowers in Marston? Rachel Norman, looking for plastic pallets. I need 4 of them. Anyone have any or know what local businesses may have them? Chrissy, where is everyone getting their avocados from? My salads just aren't selling. Jasmine, hi there. Are there any Marston and Wairarapa businesses that make flags / banners? That's that Jasmine Kimberley, I think her name is. She makes the brownies and the donuts. I think she's recently just brought a trailer, which she has. I recently brought from them, and they were very good brownies. So I really do indulge to go grab some. They are expensive, but they're worth the money. To Carlton notice board now. Miles, does anybody who had recently ridden down the mountain bike track from the top of Mount Dick able to let me know its condition, please? Would you say it's a grade 3, 4 or 5 downhill? Chris, hello. Last century I knew a Philip who had an RPM computers and also was a Jag mechanic based in Nainai, then later Carlton, next to the Buckhorn. I'm wondering if he's still around. Sean, hi all. Is anyone from Carlton heading over to this? I'm looking for a ride back when I'm done, as the next train isn't till late. If anyone can help me, please. Cheers. PM me. So who's going on about the Wellington's biggest record fair in Upper Hutt this Saturday 10 to 4. So if you can help them out, get in contact with them there. Netflix recommendation of the week, or month, sorry. I will have to go with The Office. I love The Office. I've watched it many times, and it's quite frankly the best sitcom out there. That's what I think. Especially around COVID, I'm pretty sure it's #1 show right throughout. So The Office starring Steve Carell from seasons 1 to 7, Rainn Wilson as Dwight Schrute from seasons 1 till 9, and you got John Krasinski, Jenna Fisher, a lot of other people in there as well. Great cast. I just didn't like it when Nellie came over. I think she was in, I can't remember her real name, but she was in Doctor Who as well. So yeah, The Office. Great watch, and if you're like me and you've watched it many a time, high five. Quiz questions of the month. What is James Bond preferred choice of drink? It's martini. What is the only letter in Scrabble to have a value of 5 points? K. What sports do the Wellington Saints play? Basketball. Is swimming an Olympic sport? You will be right, it is. Dad jokes of the month. How does the moon cut his hair? Eclipse it. Why did the gym close down? It just didn't work out. How do you make 7 even? You take away the S. My wife was really mad at me that I had no sense of direction, so I packed up my stuff and right. Facts of the month. The Hollywood sign in Los Angeles once said Hollywood Land, but was changed in 1949. There are more people in California than Canada, despite the fact that Canada is 2,000% larger in size than California. Elephants are the only mammal that cannot jump. The White House in Washington, D.C. has 132 rooms, including 35 bathrooms. List of conversation starters. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What superpower do you wish you could have? What do you think is the best show on Netflix right now? Would you rather travel via plane or boat? Who is your favourite celebrity couple ever? What is your biggest regret in life? What's the most controversial opinion you have? I really like that. What would you rather travel, boat or plane? Because the answer would be something like, I'll rather be on a boat because planes can crash. But the reality is that ships can also sink. So there we go. Even Stephen. Things you shouldn't do on a first date. Talk about yourself endlessly. That would not turn out well. They just think they're dating a narcissistic. Don't quiz them. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't talk about religion or politics. Don't avoid eye contact. Don't swear too much. Don't be rude to the people, to the staff at the restaurant you're at. And most importantly, don't turn up late. Because then they'll just think, oh, this fella's unreliable. Our last song for this morning, quite another good song to pop around to on a Wednesday morning at 10 minutes away from 9. It's the Captain Antonil, Our Love Will Keep Us Together.
Just gotta be strong, just stop, 'cause I
Welcome back in, 5 minutes away from 9. Another thing not to do on the first date, to constantly check your phone, because they're probably wondering, why are you checking your phone so much? And don't be under or overdressed. So, don't go in a suit, but then don't go in your Saturday clothes. So it might be jeans and a polo. I guess that's pretty average. But then also you want to dress to impress. Isn't that the saying, dress to impress? So maybe it might be best to just a little bit overdress, don't underdress too much. So that's that. And yeah, definitely don't show up late. Imagine that. So Wednesday morning, coming up to the end of the roundup this morning. For the month for me, I'll be back next month in, what's next month? July. Before I head off, I might as well just talk about some things I got up to in Australia. So yeah, over in Sydney, went to the Nitro Champs at the Sydney Dragway. Watched the top fuelers. That was very entertaining. Their cars are pretty quick over there compared to the ones over here. So we had the door slammers. I met John Zapier, Australian door slammer legend. His PB's a 5.5 in a door car, which is impressive. I think he's even gone even quicker in the States in a Noonan car, 5.4. But in the Monaro, he's gone a 5.5. He went 5.6, so 7 over in Australia while I was there. So that was an impressive run. Then you had you had a big field of cars, right through from the street cars right through to modified and door slammer, top alcohol and pro stock. Those pro stock cars are pretty quick too. They're like small block engines in them, naturally aspirated, doing 6-second passes. That's unreal. Then obviously on the 1,000 foot you had the top fuelers who were running 3.7, 3.8 seconds. The noise, the smell, the feel, the vibration throughout your body, that was top fuel. And I had never ever experienced anything like that before, when you had 24,000 horsepower right next to each other, going, full throttle down the track. I'd never ever experienced anything like that, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time over there. Done lots of other things, didn't spend too much money, so that's always a bonus to come back home with a bit of money. But that's about it from me for today. It's coming up now to 3 minutes away from 9. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your month, and I'll see you again next month here on Roundup, here on Arrow FM. Thank you and goodbye.